what has your own education been like, and do you feel like your education from kindergarten to college ever impacted your mental health, like positive, negative, or both?
I feel like there's two parts to that question. So you're asking me, how was my mental health through college?
Like from kindergarten, like through kindergarten all the way to you graduated college. How was your mental health? Would you say? Like, has there any big parts that like?
I can actually say that my parents were very concerned for me because I was a very quiet kid, and I still have my moments where I can actually be really quiet, even though I'm an extrovert. It was so much so that the family actually didn't even realize that I was still back in my room. Like, I was that quiet of a person. And they actually wondered about me having depression. And I really started to be more extroverted when, like, my true personality really came out in college because I didn't give a care. I just stopped caring. And then I think I improved a lot. But I would also say in college, I started to have other anxiety symptoms. And I think because of that, I actually had a panic attack in the middle of class one time. Having to transition from that, I've actually learned how to manage it. So I've actually haven't had a panic attack since then.
That's good. But who knows, maybe this online school will change that.
It has made things much harder. Discipline is not an issue because there would be kids that would act up and you'd have to say, sit down and be quiet, or throw them out. Sorry. That was my phone. But there's a lot of assignments.
I was going to say, those assignments I could see how great and getting it all on time.
And I can go ahead and tell you this. Teachers might get mad at me, but you'll appreciate this. There is always one assignment in a semester where it just did not go in the way I wanted it to. For whatever reason, whether it was me messing it up, maybe the kids didn't understand it fully. And those paper copies might conveniently disappear. As in, I throw them in the trash can because, one, the kids wouldn't want me to grade it anyway because it wouldn't be very good. But also it saved me the stress too. Just some things. It's harder to do that with it being online.
I mean, you could just say you asked the file got lost.
The problem is, though, everyone still has the file or a copy of it.
Oh yeah, fair point. What do you believe the purpose of What do you believe your purpose is in the education system?
What do you think is my purpose?
Yeah.
Or
what do you believe the purpose is in the education system?
my purpose, especially for English, there's two parts to it. One, I want to make sure that people are exposed to different types of writing because it's very hard to argue why English is important, especially English, when we have such a dominance in math and science, especially in the university level. But what people don't understand is a lot of these stories help you learn how to live your life. If you see this character absolutely messing up, you know not to do that kind of thing. And there are life lessons that can be learned very easily. Now, what I try and do to help kids in general is I want to expose them to different types of writing and how to read it, like the ethos, logos, pathos, that kind of thing, to see how they're being manipulated. And if you can understand how you're being manipulated, you can throw that back on someone else. So my focus with education is little life lessons with the stories, but also to understand how people think and how they communicate.
Gotcha. What is your main reason for coming to school each day?
Paycheck. Kidding. That's pennies anyway. For me, there's two parts to it. I have an absolute love for reading that 90% of the kids don't have in this class. I love delving into the text. Like, I can show you. This was my Scarlet Letter book. I had the honors kids do it. This was my personal copy.
Oh.
These were all.
Oh
of
my
my
God.
notes.
Why?
Because every single time when I'm reading it, there's something important. And on each page, there's something like notes underlining other things. This is my passion, and if I didn't like this, I wouldn't be here.
Fair.
And the other part of it is I like working with people. And I've told all of my classes this. I don't know if I told y'all this yet. If you want to make money, specialize in things, not people. Because you make more money working with computers, other things. But with people, you're never going to run out of people.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have kids, and the generations continue. So at least there's consistency there. No one's going to change. Everyone is going to have kids.
Yeah.
For the most part.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how important do you think the issues of students' mental health in our education system is? 1 being kids today always exaggerate, to 5 is an important issue that needs to be addressed.
5, because for me, as a teacher, as a perspective of a teacher, kids can't do anything if they're under some sort of emotional crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an even bigger impact because teenagers don't understand how to handle it when they have a crisis. So that's why there's an even greater importance on things like guidance. And I would argue that guidance doesn't need as much stress as they have with like scheduling and stuff, because that takes away time from kids that need additional support that I don't have time to provide. If a kid has an emotional crisis, they're not going to do well in class. I can actually tell you, I don't know if I should tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm going to be realistic. One of my first students that had an impact on me, 2 of them. Mm-hmm. My first year, this student dropped out after a month of school.
Oh.
And I had her for English 3. And I saw it happening right then because she would do a lot of self-harm.
Mm-hmm.
And I reported it because legally we have to.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot would happen.
I know what you're talking about because last year when my friend in art class, I noticed he had scars, like major deep ones, and some of them were new, so I told Ms. Gardner about it.
Uh-huh.
And she said, okay, I'll go report it, but like nothing really happened. Like,
what happens is we do report it, and we usually do it to social services because we do have social services representatives. Mm. And it's not like we're attacking the parents or anything. Yeah. It's like here's a genuine concern. Mm. But half the time it also comes down to the kid also saying, I need help. And the second one who made an impact to me, it was the first time I'd actually seen this. Every single day she had to sign a form, or I had to. It was a behavior report for a group home.
Oh.
So she didn't have a stable home environment. Mm-hmm. She wasn't actually with her parents.
Oh.
And this was working in Fayetteville.
Oh, dang.
So those are some of the things that y'all don't see that we do. I don't see that as much here, but I do see a lot.
Yeah.
And I can do stuff, and I can try my hardest. I could run myself ragged, but there are just some points where I can't. There's only so much that I can do.
When you do see a student who is struggling, even if it's just in your like class, what do you usually do about it? Like, do you just put like a 0 in the grade book, or is there other procedures you follow?
So it's harder to do that with it being online. But typically in my classroom, I would actually take them outside of the classroom and just have a genuine talk. It doesn't have to be, and most kids, especially teenagers, especially males, will not. Let me take that back. Majority of the time, students will talk to someone of the same gender. So guys will more likely explain what's going on to me than girls will. I usually try and take them out and I go, hey, what's going on? I noticed that it's usually things like you're really quiet unusually, or this is going on. And what I have told kids is that I take whatever is going on, unless I have to report it, I take it to my grave. I won't tell anyone, no other students, no staff, unless it's absolutely necessary where it would threaten my job. And I think that it's that level of trust where kids know that, hey, I'm going through something. I go, okay. And there are moments where I try to tell kids what to do, and there are some points where you just have to let them fall over, realize they mess up, and I go, okay, here's your action plan, go. And usually that works.
How do you think the education system as a whole can improve the benefit of the students? Like, what do you think they can do to help them?
Get rid of standardized tests. Every day as a teacher, well, not every day, well, kind of every day. Every school district is different. In the end, what we know is that our test scores are the end-all be-all, unfortunately, when it comes to especially things like funding. So if you don't perform well enough as a teacher, you could endanger funding for the school. And we try to see like projected growth is what it's called. Like how you do in English 2, you're expected to be this proficient by English 3. Did you meet that goal? And I disagree with it entirely because these tests mean nothing to me. They don't, these tests that you are given at the end of the year, except for this year, for this semester, they do not reflect you as a student because there's multiple factors involved. And I think that if we could get away with, I'm okay with us having some sort of standardized, but we need to do it by county or by state, not by Common Core, this stuff, that stuff.
Yeah. I do feel like that has a big impact on majority of people.
Well, look at, for example, math and science. Let's go even more basic. Biology learned that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah.
That saying has not changed since like the 90s. So in science, you're taught that. In English, it's actually soft skills. I'm supposed to teach you theme, inferences, how to find it, because they're going to give you some text that I don't even know. what you're getting. And suddenly you have to go, okay, this is the argument. This is the best argument.
Yeah.
And I've actually had this argument with a professor in education. She said, we need everyone stuck to the curriculum. And I looked at her and I said, what's the point in me teaching a standard airtight curriculum if none of it's going to be on the test?
Her point?
She had no comment.
Fair point. Yeah, no, I don't like standardized tests.